Do you pour your heart into your writing? Do your personal experiences and the wounds you carry seep into your stories? Do you ever find it challenging to write when your characters mirror the hardships that you're going through or have faced in the past? I get it. Me too. Welcome to the Write It Scared podcast. I'm your host, Stacy Fraser, a formerly repressed creative soul turned fiction writer, story editor, and author accelerator certified fiction book coach. At Write It Scared, we tell the truth about why writing a novel is so hard by acknowledging that most writers grapple with two stories. The one they want to put on the page to the best of their ability, and the often subconscious internal story that prevents them from doing it. This show is designed to help you identify and rewrite the internal narrative holding you back while you discover and write the story you want to tell and learn all the tools to help you do that successfully. Join me each week for a new episode where we'll talk about writing to deepen our understanding of the craft and of ourselves as writers. Writing a novel is an inside job that we do not do alone. Welcome to Write It Scared. I'm glad you're here. Let's dive in. Hi, writer. Welcome to another episode of the Write It Scared podcast. I'm your host, Stacy. Today's episode number 13. And today we're going to talk about navigating heavy emotions in writing, how to handle personal experience, emotional wounds, and just writing when things are heavy and hard. And this is an emotionally challenging topic, and many writers face it, but it's not talked about very often. And this particular topic has been on my heart in one way or another for a while. What clinched my decision to talk about it here was when one of my clients asked for guidance. They said, how do I write when the messy emotional parts of my real life mimic what my characters are going through, when it feels too painful and too raw to touch it? As I said, this is not a pleasant topic, but it's one that needs an open and honest conversation, because that's how we fight the dark. We let the light in. We're writing during a very traumatic time, and it affects all of us in one way or another. So let me ask you, do you pour your heart into your writing? Do your personal experiences and the wounds you carry seep into your stories? Do you ever find it challenging to write when your characters mirror the hardships that you're going through or have faced in the past? I get it. Me too. Most of the writers I work with delve deep. They write from a place of raw honesty, vulnerability, and resilience, and I strive to do the same. On some level, writing pieces of our truth is inescapable. I craft stories about messy interpersonal growth because they echo my wish for myself and humanity, and that's not always fun to do. When we write from our core, it can hurt. Life's emotional upheavals can trigger us deep and hard. They can scratch at wounds that we haven't completely healed. And when that happens, we can be very tempted to freeze or run or give up on our manuscript's goals and say, screw it, this is just too hard. But if we want this writing life, if we want to write about the things that matter to us, we have to find a way to continue. We can't quit. We can feel it. We can tend to it. We can take breaks if we need to. But quitting altogether is not an option. So we have to find a way to go forward. As I mentioned, one of my clients recently faced the struggle, and I wanted to share my thoughts on how I coached them in case it would help you or someone you know now or in the future. So here are some ideas on how to handle your emotional wounds when the writing lands too close to the heart. First and foremost, please prioritize your well-being. If your writing is delving into sensitive topics, personal topics, please be mindful of your mental and emotional well-being. Writing can reopen old wounds that we thought were healed. So you need to assess if you're in a steady enough place to tackle the issue. And if you're not or you're unsure, don't hesitate, reach out for help. Identify, the resources that are available to you if your emotions become overwhelming. And you may not need to do these things, but it's just best to have a backup plan. So in the show notes, I will include a link to emergency mental health resources across 17 nations. And I don't have to share with you that this is not a joke, especially in the world we live in today. Here's what I want you to remember. I want you to hold on to is that there is absolutely no shame in putting down a project to take care of yourself. Remember, your mental health and your general well-being are more important than anything else, and you deserve to be supported. Okay, next, write damn lean. So if you're touching something that's emotionally triggering, but you're going to keep going, just write it lean, skim the surface, use placeholders like TK, meaning to come, for character emotions. Don't worry, you'll weave in the depth and interiority later. It's okay to write in fragments. Writing lean will help you maintain your momentum and distance yourself from the feelings until you're ready. Next tip is to skip or summarize the difficult scenes entirely. So you can summarize the emotionally challenging scenes. You can just do cliff notes such as this happened and as a result, this happened, or just skip it altogether and write farther on down in the story that has a less emotional charge for you. So reassure yourself that you will come back to it later because you will. The next idea is to channel your emotions. So infuse your emotions into the story. Write it angry, write it in tears, let the snot come out. Pound on your keys or press your pencil till it breaks. It's okay if it doesn't mirror your character's exact truth at this moment. You'll edit that later. The next idea is to take breaks with accountability. So step away for a set amount of time, but build in accountability. Ask a writing friend or someone you trust to check in and make sure you haven't completely ghosted your manuscript goals. And lastly, shelve it completely and work on your own healing. I know I said we have to find a way to write what matters to us, and I believe that. But there are no hard fasts here, no clear-cut solutions to this human experience. Sometimes the truth is we are not ready. And that doesn't mean that we failed. It might mean that we haven't healed enough to write about it yet. And that's okay. And I speak from personal experience. Years ago, I started crafting a personal creative nonfiction project that dealt with family trauma. And I wasn't ready. It was too close. But attempting to write it gave me information. There was still work to be done on myself. So I got busy with therapy again. And I say that like it went fast and it was easy, but it wasn't. But I learned to touch that theme in other ways, in other characters' adventures. And through the healing journey, my faith in my ability to trust myself and my creativity grew. Again, there is no shame in shelving a project to take care of yourself. This is the challenge we face when we write it deep and we write it true. And for those of us mining in those depths, we often confront ourselves and our past. And for some of us, writing a novel is akin to the personal development journey we never knew we signed up for. That is certainly true for me. But remember, you don't have to be strong all at once. You don't have to be brave all at once, and you do not need to do it alone. So keep writing, even when it's hard, but take care of yourself above all else. And if you are looking for a book coach to help guide you through the sometimes messy emotional process of writing a novel, I'd be honored to help. I will post a link in the show notes, and you can consider scheduling a call with me to talk about your project. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you next week. Thank you for listening to the Write It Scared podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please make sure to hit the follow button so you never miss an episode. And please leave a review. Reviews help other writers like you find the voices and messages they need to hear to continue to write their stories. Let's lift each other up. Remember, you can be scared and still be unstoppable. I'll see you next week.